Whether you know me personally or not, you probably know that I love TF2. It's my favorite game of all time. Team Fortress 2 is an amazing game, but Valve has been working on it for over 24 years technically, and it's going on 25 next year as the time of making this. And as the years go on, they work on it less and less, and it seems like that they're abandoning it more and more, with the bots taking over, less updates, no major updates in almost half a decade, and stuff like that. And while this is all stuff I don't like, the thing that concerns me more and is also kind of fascinating is how much this game has in common with one of my favorite stop motion figures, Stickbot.
TF2 is a victim of many things. It was born too early, it's been mishandled a few times, and it's feeling neglected.
Well, I don't agree with all these points. I think that most of them could connect to Stickbot in a way. I think that most of these points are valid when comparing it to Stickbot. So let's get into them. Well, I don't believe Stickbot was necessarily born too early. It may have been born too late. For those who don't know, this is what I would assume. Stickbot was probably based off of Stickfaz and a bunch of other stuff in the early 2000s that were stop motion figures. The name is obviously a reminder along with the purpose made for stop motion animation. But yeah, it is interesting to think of what it would be like if Stickbot was around at this time. Maybe it could have grown more, but maybe also because of the name, it could have had more difficulty in the environment because of the copyright. Now, this point is a very short point. I just wanted to kind of mention it. It's kind of interesting. Alright. Mishandled. If there's anything the community can agree on, it's this. Yeah, this has happened numbers of times. Well, I've talked to the Stickbot creators and animators and voice actors and stuff personally, and they're very nice and wonderful. It cannot be understated that the one thing that they are not getting right is the edginess of Stickbot. The reason why people remember Stickbot is because of Off the Grid, the most popular series by far. Even though technically The Bachelor is, or something like that, it's weird. Anyway, it is obvious that Off the Grid is it's associated with Stickbot. This is the thing. I mean, look at this scene right here. Like, what do you think of his, like, super ridiculous robes so that we can't tell who he is or whatever? And the gas mask guy that's about to appear. This is an edgy show, and the original Stickbot from pretty much 2017, or I'd say 2015 to 2017, kind of. This was Stickbot, and this is not a bad thing. This is just how it was, and a lot of people liked it this way. 2018 to 2019 wasn't necessarily, I would say, as edgy, but it still had that element. But they still had the same aesthetic or feeling. It felt the same as this, but it wasn't as edgy, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that this is necessarily bad. It's just these two are not the same.
Happy Mother's Day! What the bot?
And like I said in my very old and crappy Rise of Stickbot, this is the first episode of the Stickbot show.
Stikbot, if I see you around Taylor again, I will personally you green twig-looking son of
Also, the current direction that Stickbot's going into, with more green screen and less physical props, which is an interesting direction to say the least. I've said my opinion about it in my previous videos, but yeah, it's an interesting direction to say the least, and I think that I understand it's easier to make and stuff, but yeah. And also, don't even get me started on the NFTs, like, what? Please no. Now, I can't blame all of this on just the Stickbot people. Kappa also has some fault to it. Yeah, remember in, like, late 2019, early 2020, how everyone was, yeah, Kappa. Oh. Yeah, basically what happened was Kappa kind of screwed a bunch of people over, especially, stop motion toy video audiences. I think you can see the problem here. So, yeah, that was the major issue. See, what would happen is, like, something about you couldn't make money a certain way as it's like you couldn't get recommended, you couldn't be searched up if you had and you couldn't make a certain amount of money or something if you had a kids channel, and Stickbot had to switch to a kids channel, which, as you can guess, really screwed them over in the end. So, yeah. Hey, you want to see something kind of sad and funny?
You could have anyone you want. Why would you wanna be with me? I'm nothing special. You could have anyone you want. Why would you wanna be with me?
Now you might be asking why I'm showing you a random meme I made on put on Instagram. Well, see, sometimes when I make memes or videos, I make two variants. This is the second variant. The first variant I'm about to show you, and this actually goes into our point.
You could have anyone you want. Why would you wanna be with me? I'm nothing special. You could have anyone you want. Why would you wanna be with me? You know I'm nothing special. Be with whoever you want. I don't care.
Those are actual guesstimated statistics of how the stikbot channel was doing a couple months ago. As you can guess, not too good. This is my point about how much Kappa screwed them over, and what might happen. It might even get worse if they don't change their content style and go back to what people remember.
Oh, you can't see where
crap,
right.
Look who it is. It's Walrus Films.
Okay. Alright, now he's doing this.
Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. Now you're just somebody that I used to know. I don't wanna live that way. Read into every word you say. You said that you could let it go, and I wouldn't catch you hung up on somebody that you used to know.
That hit a little too hard.
That hit me right in the feels. Got me in the feels, bro.
Even though neglected could technically go into the other subject, I think I'm just going to count this as another thing so that way I can talk about it more. I want to first start off by saying that there's been a lot of improvement in this community, especially with stikbot. They've been having more community helped events, and lots of more stuff is cool than before, if that makes sense. It was less likely that someone like a random sticktuber could collaborate with the official stikbot zing people now, and it's kind of cool that that happens. But then you have stuff like this.
It doesn't take that much work to communicate every now and then with your community. I've watched TF2 get stuck in this repeating pattern of radio silence from the developers starts to make the community worried, to the community gets fed up and calls the developers out, to months later the developer acts better for 2 weeks, to the community forgiving the developers, back to radio silence. Which is funny, because you could just apply this pattern to
Stikbot as well. Yeah, I agree with this one too. It is kinda crazy. And while it is getting much, much better with the introduction of the Discord server and stuff, it is still a problem. Yeah. Honestly, I had a bunch of stuff to talk about, but I've suddenly forgotten it. And I don't write scripts because I'm dyslexic, so yeah, this is where it ends off. I'll probably be able to come up with more ideas and eventually maybe even get more help on these videos. But for now, yeah, this is it. So if you want me to make a part 2, just comment down below, and hopefully if a bunch of people want to do it, then I'll start to remember and maybe we can work on a part 2. But with that said, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next one. Bye.